Hey guys, it's Winnie and Adrian here at Home Gym Con 2025. And you thought last year was exciting? That has nothing on this year. There are over 125 vendors, which Adrian's gonna name right now.
What? Oh, Rep, Prime, Titan, Rose.
That's enough. All right, so we're gonna see all of those vendors. Just kidding, we learned that from last year. We're actually going to highlight the coolest and greatest equipment from each place.
And thank you, viewers, for sending us here. We paid for this trip ourselves, and it's all because of you. We hope you enjoy it. Let's get this started. I'm excited.
Rep has a lot of stuff here.
The full catalog.
Yes, but I want to show you something I think is the most interesting, and that is their new built-in Smith machine. Now this thing has insane touches. It has the numbers on the sides. This is the built-in bar. They're going to have a bring your own bar version later.
Super smooth, no lateral deflection, right? You can see some of those
Let's see that
ones.
shaky shake.
You'll see as we go through. So it's very solid. It feels very much like a Smith. Honestly, if I were to look at our Bells of Steel review and take that feedback and put it into a Smith machine, it seems like they watched that video. Because this really addresses a lot of those things. They'll have ISO handles. Think of like Bulletproof's VTS. Again, later down the line, they'll have a bring your own bar version where you strap your own bar. Again, further down the line, I think this can mount inside and probably, depending how they configure it, to a lot of other racks. There's not a whole lot that I would say would restrict this with the BYOB version that you couldn't put on other racks, at least with a 47.
This is honestly very, very nice. And if they have more iterations to go, I'd be really interested as to how they're gonna...
I think it's pretty close to final. I think it's just the ISO handles and the BYOB. This is very refined. On the other side here, you have the wall-mounted Aries. So it's just an Aries, 4-post Aries. The only difference is being they've put that pull-up bar there, right? So it offsets, because a lot of these racks you can't have that pull-up bar because this thing's here. So they're getting close to releasing that.
And they have their storage option, which it has these little bat wings.
Yeah, and then the wall, not wall control, their own pegboard goes off the side, but there's no reason, and they've said this, they'll sell this separately later on. You could throw this on any rack, right? It's just bat wings off to the side, and now you've got usable space. Maybe you don't want to drill into your holes or to your walls or whatever.
Here we have something very interesting that we're actually not going to fully go over in this video. This is Rep's leg extension leg curl attachment. We're
going to do, I think, a versus video. A lot of people have asked for it to see this up against some other options. So we will come back to the leg extension leg curl. So subscribe for that one.
So Rep has a new line of cardio. This is their manual treadmill.
I'm honestly, so they teased this last year, I think in Germany.
Yes.
And you can tell they've been iterating and tweaking things. This looks, I don't know the price point. This looks pretty good. We've done a couple manual treadmills.
And they have a water bottle holder, which is, you'd be interested how many treadmills don't have the water bottle holder.
Isn't that funny though? It's the first thing you put on.
I know.
But the display looks good. Is it smooth?
It's honestly the smoothest treadmill I've ever tried.
I don't like running. But
pretend. Like that's why I first stepped on, I was like, oh, this is butter.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
This is very cool.
That's some insane magnetic resistance, because most of these systems have nothing. And this is, I think, also Q4, they said. Most of this would be ready in Q4.
So we hate cardio, as you guys know, but this is a very impressive machine. We might be interested at seeing one of these in our own gym. Obviously, you know we love Ironmaster's adjustable dumbbells, but that's not all they have. Actually, that's a very small percentage of what they have.
Well, you're on the Super Bench Pro right now.
Yes, and this is their new all-in-one rack called the Valhalla. Yeah. People need to have easier names to say.
Magnetic emblem.
Oh my gosh.
2x2 11 gauge steel, 1-inch holes, but it's a functional trainer. That's a 200-pound stack. I say in every video, why can't we have a 5-pound starting weight?
Yeah.
Right? It might not be exactly 5 pounds. You have some
maybe
cable friction.
Maybe 7.5 if I were to be critical.
But still, very light. And nice thing about the Valhalla, she's not rowing on the ground. That's just her bench. Yeah. That's a mid-row right there, right? So you've got the integrated lat pull down, low row. She's got 400 pounds to work with, which is
I need more.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's still a rack. So you've got these J cups, right? And just a J cup. It's a double J cup for.
I know. He's acting like we've seen these before. This is our first real time touching these.
Ironmaster, what I like about them is they do things differently.
Yes.
So their bench isn't everybody's ladder bench. Yeah. You know? But if you look at these, there's a knob up here. I can adjust the width of my grip.
And you can actually take them off and spin them to get different grips.
Yeah, I can pop them and like spin it the other way. I mean, how easy was that? I've never done this before.
Yeah.
I just saw the knob up there, same knob from the Superbench Pro. And I can change my grip. I hate multi-grip pull-up bars because you're confined to that.
Notice how we don't have any on our racks.
Yeah, you're confined to that exact grip. Well, not anymore, right? Now I want mine a little wider, a little more narrow. You could tell Ironmaster's really put some time and effort into it. I mean, it's smooth.
Yep.
It does a lot. We'll see with the price point. This is a not a production model, right?
No, this is the first. This is the only prototype in the world of this, and it's great to see Ironmaster still expanding on that ecosystem they created and coming out with
working
new
with their own stuff
year after year.
Yeah, pretty excited for this one.
So we're at Rogue now, and they have a lot of prototypes here that aren't currently on the market yet. This is their Arc, and it's a collab with Mutant Metals and Darko.
You can kind of see the OG Mutant Metals type thing here, and then they put the Darko insert in from their long and shorty bar.
So these are super cool, and they have a lot of different variations of them.
The variations being the different angles. 5 degrees, -5 degrees straight. There's a whole suite, you want to pull some of those out, of attachments that have come out recently. Some are collabs, some are new.
So this is where we really get the paper airplane.
Some of these don't exist yet, and they're prototypes. They might, Rogue just told us, they might not even come out. They just brought this so people could play around with them. But that's cool to see that they're coming out with more ideas. They're prototyping, like one of those is a collab with Home Gym Hangouts, and different collabs over here. They've actually done like dozens of collabs in the last few months.
Yes.
You want to name every single Rogue functional trainer system?
Well, we built every single one, so I should probably be able to.
So this is which system?
Oh, this is the Indie.
This is not the Indie. This is an 80-inch tall twin stack, but you tried.
Oh, I was so close.
It does have independent stacks, but it has the lat pull down low row. We've reviewed all these. Now, these are, you guys have seen this in our videos,
yes.
I would hope. Some of the smoothest and nicest systems we use. This is the Monster Light version, but they've done a good job of like adapting everything.
And hey, they have your gunmetal gray.
They have the gunmetal gray.
This is the rack he wishes he has, but for thumbnails, we always do bright colors.
Yeah, but the build quality is absurd. If you guys are here or not here, these are the smoothest systems I've ever used. You can't see that, but I'm rowing like, I think it's 300 pounds, definitely 300 pounds.
300, that's crazy.
So go ahead, let's go 0 for 3.
All right, this is the FM twin stack.
Yes, half rack. Stainless steel upright. So this is and it looks like it's 100 inch. This is a tall boy.
This is really tall.
My
also,
wife
this
would
is
love
gorgeous.
getting that lap bar down. Rogue has their selectorized leg extension leg curl. So we spoke to them a little bit. What happened is Reflex made this for years. Then they made a version for Sorinex. Sorinex started making their own with holes in it. Rogue bought Reflex. So actually Reflex makes a lot of machines. So they're gonna release some of those, I would hope, some of those machines as we go. But if you're looking at this and you said it doesn't look very Rogue-like, this is an older model, and they've said that they've got a more Rogue-like version coming. But I can get in here, you know, I don't have the weight set, but I'd set the weight, and then I can adjust my range of motion here, you know. It's just kind of what looks typical now, because everybody's copying it. I'd love to see what Rogue does with this. The next item, the CTM1, is, I think they said like next week. By the time this video comes out, this might already be shipping. So if you're not sure or not familiar with the CTM1, this is essentially the Adonis. I wouldn't even say they ripped each other off, because they're all ripping off or taking inspiration from Prime with a single stack, really. But what these systems do, can you reach that? Is they integrate a lat pull down, a low row, and a functional trainer trolley into one. But they also have their multi-seat. So Rep has their Pegasus, right?
Yeah.
This is essentially Rogue's take on it. So you have the adjustable leg holder. You have, you know, like a seal row pad, think about it. But it looks like it's kind of in the way, right?
Yeah.
Well, it would be in the way unless, now I have not taken this off.
This is live.
So there's an adjustment. I'm literally learning this as I do it. So there's an adjustment pin or a tightening pin in the back. You can flip this entire thing upside down. It looks heavy, and it is, but it's actually lighter than the Pegasus. With the Pegasus, you always kind of feel like it's in your face when you're doing rows. Not anymore, right? Imagine this is not in my way. You flip the whole thing out of the way, and now I'm off the rack quite a bit. And it's very Rogue, so it's big, it's beefy. I could probably row off that. I can tuck this away. You know, I can mess with it in different ways. But classic Rogue, overbuilt, beautiful, super smooth, really well done.
Yeah.
We'll see in the review how we feel about it though.
We're here with Darko and showing off one of my favorite pieces of equipment of the weekend, and that is this 3D printed 6-post rack.
The detail on this, like look at the mini Volta.
Look, it comes out. the dip bar attachment.
They got the plates and everything.
Yeah, so these are actually for sale on Darko's site as well.
Yeah,
and
these
they
are
have,
awesome.
do you see this bright green? They have 14 different colors, and he said he'd be willing to work with you for custom colors.
So we did a storage video, and lots of people say, where do you get this? Where do you get that? We probably got it from Darko.
Yes.
So you got the anchor to hold your barbells.
You
we
have
always talk about the
the-
longy and shorty bar. And he's actually worked with, in the community, this is with Dr. Tatty Waffles as well, to make the DIY mount, put the handle on it. So if you have the Vultra, you can, actually the Vultra's over here, you can mount it up wherever you'd like. And we actually like that mount. I think everybody says this now. We like that mount better than the ones Vultra has. You can see right there, they're tinkering with it. But he's got a lot here. These spotter arms are pretty cool.
Here, I got that for you. Yep.
Calls them the Aero Light. So if you have normal 3x3 1-inch spotter arms, they weigh like
You don't want
45
them.
pounds.
Yes.
This is, what do these weigh?
11 pounds.
11 pounds.
Wow.
I mean, obviously the clear grind is fantastic.
Yes.
This is cool to see a community member kind of doing the things the community
listening
wants.
to us picky home gym owners. Here's another handle that he's coming out. This is the D-pin?
D-Day handle.
The
D-Nade, like a grenade
you can see it
handle.
on the Vultra. So he's just popping it into different spots depending how he wants that to sit, right? For your different uses. We've done, oh, actually we can't skip this. So this is another mount of his. Anybody who's used the Vultra, there's a limitation on its weight, but this puts it at a 1-to-2 ratio. You run this through here and it would double the felt weight. So now you've got 400 pounds to work with instead of 200. He's just made this kind of DIY mount.
And then we have his double plate storage.
Yeah, we have some of these coming in. Again, you can customize it. Sornex and other companies make something like this. Anyway, it's just like,
Again, the king of storage.
and the king of customization too. I mean, we've done the thresher pad, we've done this stuff all over the place. Absolutely love his stuff and really happy to be able to support him to see like all this stuff grow. Because we just kind of, just tip of the iceberg of what he does.
We're here at RitFit, which is a company we haven't worked with before, but after seeing the booth, we were so surprised at some of the different options they had, we had to check them out. So this is their plate wall. These are all customizable and they'll have even more options later on.
Yeah, so you can put the Warrior sticker on all of them or whatever you'd want as a decal.
Also, I love these pink plates and would love to have a pair of them.
But what drew me over here is they've got a lot of machines they're working on. So this, I believe, they said was the Bulldog.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, is prototypes. So I can adjust based on length, my height, and depending what kind of stretch I want, I can mess with that. The range of motion seems pretty decent. I can actually go a little further, but there's bars in my way. But again, it's a prototype. And then what's cool,
Can I show them?
you can slide this along with a pop pin to change the weight ratio. So back here it's like 0.8, and then at the end it's like 1.2, making it a little harder. Again, kind of a quick way to tweak the resistance curve. Back here, like with most of these machines, there's a series of pop pins, so I can adjust this.
Yeah, home
And
gyms are definitely
I
keeping the pop
can
pin
lie it
industry.
down. You see it auto adjusting. Again, a prototype. When I go through it, it's not perfectly smooth at the end, but it's very early. They said they're 4 to 6 months out,
Yes.
and they're just getting feedback from the community to tweak it. I mean, think about it. Prime's high-end stuff is 5,000, and then when you get to this range, the little refinement, this could be really good.
Yeah.
This is the Rhino. So this is
We need
you
more
can-
animals. Everything's the
Yeah,
rhino,
everything's an
the
animal.
donkey.
It's a chest press or shoulder press. It's a press machine. You can adjust these handles. So if I want to overhead press, I can change the angle, what's comfortable for me. Much like a lever arm, I can lock the starting point. So I'm not way down here to start. That's kind of cool. And I can drop my bench back, tweak my handle, and do chest press. This is the M2 rack. There's an M1 rack. It's a 2.3 inch rack, so 60 millimeters like that Bell's of Steel line. It's a 3D Smith machine. I will put that
Yeah,
back.
it's like a, what do they call it, floating?
Yeah, so you can move on multiple planes, not only vertical, but back and forth. And we can lock it in. If you lock in both sides with that pop pin, you just turn it 90 degrees, it locks
Now
in.
then it no longer floats, it's just stationary.
It's gonna be where you want. But I think the fact that it can unlock is really cool because that means you can curl with it.
Yeah, now you can curl it.
I can curl with it.
We are at Prime Fitness, which is the home of one of our favorite benches, the Shorty bench.
Oh, and it's right over here.
They have a very interesting upgrade that I think a lot of us, me especially, are very excited for.
So one of my critiques in the community's critiques was there's no vertical storage. So they have a bolt-on vertical storage. It doesn't mess with any of the attachments. You just unbolt. It's something on the end of the head pad and bolt it right on. It's pretty stable. There's no enclosed ladder, so they do have a wall mount system. If you have kids, they'll strap it to the wall.
Yeah, they said it's strapped to the wall.
Like,
I'm excited to see the seat belt.
That's not going anywhere. They've also got an updated version of their trap bar. If you haven't seen them teasing, a lot of this stuff's new from Prime. These handles allow you to, it's not gonna work because we don't have plates on it, allow you to lock in at different angles, right? Or I can have them moving freely, all off a simple pop pin, or I can put the telescoping handles on. Yeah. But you can.
Did you tell them this turns into the super squat bar?
It turns into a super squat bar or a hip thrust bar. Yeah. You just undo a thumb screw and you can pull these handles off like so. And I have never done that, so I'm not that smart, so must be pretty easy. I know if you guys are familiar with Joe Gray, he's been kind of testing this for them. So pretty cool to put it through like that. He's a big dude, strong dude. He's here somewhere. He's gonna put it through his paces. He'll give it some refine it, and hopefully maybe we'll be able to.
All right, let's see this bad boy. So this is their pendulum squat. I think that probably most home gym owners don't necessarily have the room for it.
Prime is known kind of as a commercial gym company, not necessarily a home gym company. This is logically a more commercial gym piece, but you'll see a lot of companies coming out with more machines. I mean, as we go around, we'll see a lot of them. So this is Prime's Smart Arm. It sits on the shorty bench. I love the shorty bench if you haven't figured that out. And all these attachments pop in and out with a simple pop pin, and then you can see watch your head. What I love about Prime here, there's multiple curl handles.
Yes.
But I'd pop this on, throw my hitch pin in, and then I can adjust, like I can adjust the length here. You've got markings, I can adjust the cam. You can see the counterweight, so this makes it super easy to adjust if you've ever muscled the isolator into position. And then Winnie's next to the torque arm here, which Prime has on all their machines. She can put the weight in the middle, the top or the bottom, depending on where you want to emphasize the resistance. So if you want more resistance at the start, you load up here. You want the whole range of motion there, and if you want it at the end, you put it there.
We actually have this at home, and we've been working on a review for it, but Prime is one of the only companies that send us an actual laminated manual.
The
so they make
funny.
sure you know how to use it, where to put everything, et cetera, et cetera.
So, Winnie, you can talk about this while I put this back together.
Yeah, so everybody knows our garage is always super neat, especially our Patreons who see the behind the scenes. But so this is Prime's built-in storage. It's honestly pretty nice. It can hold most of their attachments. This is super cool. It has holes for the carabiner for your cable attachments and so on. Next you have this built-in mirror, because who doesn't like watching themselves? This is actually shatterproof, and they said that it's not formally released, but it is a possibility. Behind this mirror they have more storage all bolted on the back of it, and it honestly it looks beautiful, but the back also has all the storage and it looks very nice, very clean.
I set the Smart Arm back up, and I don't know if Winnie mentioned it because I was doing that, but some of these items like the mirror and this offset storage and single post where they've angled it for the Smart Arm, they're here to get feedback from the community, and then we'll see if these things get released, which is really cool to see all these companies get so involved.
And here we have their leg extension, leg curl.
If you've seen the torque arm from the Smart Arm, it's the same thing you're gonna see here, where I can load the plates wherever I want, simple as that, to emphasize where I want the resistance. This is a commercial quality machine. This is the nicest leg extension, leg curl I've ever used. So you pull this pop pin with the seat out and it should clear, And now you have your prone or lying leg curl. Again, a lot of adjustability depending on your height, right? And range of motion that you're looking for. Insane machine. If I could pick only one for my home gym, it's probably one I go with. Let's keep this moving.
Yeah.
We got a lot to see.
So we're at Titan seeing some of their new machines that they have coming out, starting with the Nemesis, which is not a new machine.
No, so there was a version 1 Nemesis. This is V2. This has actually been out, like a functional trainer tower or a lat tower, whatever you want to call it, a cable tower, where you have these arms that can articulate in different ways.
We're seeing a lot of that lately.
Yeah, it's the trend. It's the trend. Yes. It's a 4-to-1 ratio on a 300-pound stack. So that really does only gives you about 75 pounds to work with, but for a functional trainer, that's fine. This is pretty smooth to pull
and easy to move.
To adjust.
Oh, look at that move.
Yeah.
Wow.
But wait a minute.
Oh.
What is this?
These
Look at that.
What is
So there's a lever You can pull this off to show.
Let me see.
So I can just slide my, wow, Titan, this is cool. So I can slide my J cup up and down. So like I go to bench press, I'm really big.
Yep.
And then Winnie goes to bench press.
It needs to be on the ground. Yeah.
No, but
do these do the same?
Yeah, there's a lever.
He made it look way easier. That's sick.
This is a shoulder press, chest press. It slides on this rail system. So now I can do like an incline press or an actual shoulder press.
Yes.
This is a tricep. Do you want to give it a shot? I don't know, weight there?
Sure.
The tricep extension. If we switch this pin right here, she can get, I can adjust that further.
This is the first time I've ever done curls on this channel. I like how this
that
moves.
rotates. Looks like it runs on bearings. This must be their
let's
new.
see.
You can see them integrating 3x3 1-inch holes. You can adjust
cool.
the width of the handles.
And how
These
he just
handles
showed me this,
rotate.
this adjusts the height that you stand at.
Is
Is
that a pop pin or a lever?
And it's a pop pin, and it's honestly very easy and smooth to move.
Oh wow, that is.
Yes, for us extremely short people at 5'6".
But it looks like you can even adjust the starting point. You
Yeah.
can see it's just almost like one of their roller J cups it sits on, and they can adjust where they want this to start on the left or right side. I mean, if I pop one of these off real quick, it's basically a modified version of their roller J cup. That's clever.
Let me see.
But that's the benefit of that 3x3 1-inch.
Yeah.
You can throw that wherever you want. You can put landmines or all kinds of things on here. Titan expanding a lot. You can see different finish options, different things they're popping
They
out.
have colors on their benches now, which is our first time seeing them. They look great.
Really, for prototypes, this is better than some companies.
Yeah.
Titan's really come a long ways in a few years, so it'll be exciting to see kind of where they go.
We're here at Iron Bowl, and you might know their supportive gear. I've actually had their wrist wraps for almost 10 years now.
A long time.
Crazy.
Those things are grody.
Okay. They're getting into a lot of new equipment, and all this is Canadian-based and built.
So they actually just expanded into a much larger facility, but the rack is made in Canada. I mean, anything steel outside of maybe the pulleys like Rogue, but they're really trying to emphasize getting everything in-house. This is their new Frankenstein rack, which I thought is kind of cool. If you're used to like Rogue's keyholes, Titan, bells, everybody has the keyholes. What they've done is they've made it, it's like a snowman, but flipped upside down. They've pinched this in a little bit so you can get the 5/8 and 1-inch rack attachments in here, and they're not gonna move around.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a 5/8 inch J cup. You're too high?
I'm too high.
You're having trouble getting in the right hole.
There we go.
So there you go,
This
and then
is not moving.
if you had a normal on a Rogue rack, this would pop up an inch. So that's gonna stay in there super solid. We can throw this down
And
here.
it's nice because if you already have a 5/8 inch rack and you want to move to something bigger, you can get the bigger rack, still use the same attachments until you can buy the new one.
Pretty cool trolley system. It looks overbuilt and robust, but I mean, this is one hand. I'm not saying it's not heavy, but I've seen
not
some
terrible at all.
janky systems that we haven't reviewed. I don't want to say any names out loud,
Yeah.
but the rollers, the built-in rollers, this looks pretty good. The sandwich cups look good. So one of Iron Bowl's big things is
Customization. So these are all the different colors you could get for your rack, and they said you could talk to them if you want different color.
this is a Cerakoted plate, and they're sandwiching plates in between here. I think you can pick this color. It's a stainless steel insert. And then these plates are like, I think you said 2 years old they've been using, so they're a little beat up and still pretty good shape.
And they had to transport
But you
them
can
here.
see how they've customized that with whatever color you'd want.
But not just the plates, the dumbbells too. So you could change the head colors and the end caps, and I even think you could change the handle part. So this is it's the home of customization. So this is the selectorized version of that cable system. And these plates are done differently than everybody else. Instead of a pop pin, it has this holder, I guess you call it. And this is how you select your weight. So he said that right now this is 300 pounds, right?
I think he said it's 200, but he'll build the stack however they want. That's what Iron Bowl's trying to do, like customize, but they laser cut these plates out. Most companies are just importing the same generic plate.
And that's why some of this stuff is so unique, because they're trying to do it all in-house. They're finding solutions that other companies don't have to because they're importing some goods.
And then with their jammer arms, you've seen this before where companies allow it to articulate, but these guys are building it themselves so he can lock in whatever angles he wants. And this is the kind of company you could go in and give them some feedback and they can just tweak it right on the fly because they make it. It's not just this cookie cutter thing.
Yes, there's a lot here, and there's a lot that you can specify in your customization request. So if you want to see more from this company or other companies that we've covered, let us know and let us know what you personally are interested in. We're here at a combo setup, and this is Rorman Strength and Vendetta. These are two creators that have created a lot of interesting new items, like our very beloved Rorman Strength handles.
The megalith handles.
The megalith handles.
So he's got some of his other handles. We've used these to curl on a Smith machine and
on us.
Put them on an arc attachment and use them in a lot of different ways, but he's prototyped, this is actually the same handle, some different ways to use them with different brackets. You can make them angled or neutral. They still rotate, and as we go, you'll see different ways he uses them.
So this is the Vendetta dip attachment, and it has a lot going on. So
this thing's wild.
Yes, and it can go on, we'll start with the basics. It can go on a 1 inch and 5/8 inch setup rack.
You can change the angle. It can come in and out. You can change the width. It can go up and down. This is actually also an adjustable landmine. And now I have a professional model showing us.
Yes.
I can still have all that articulation, all that adjustment for a landmine. So a lot of multi-use. What'd you say this thing was called?
I'll be calling it the Omega Dip Attachment.
The Omega Dip Attachment.
Vendetta.
Gotta be the craziest and coolest dip attachment or that I've seen. Like, this is wild.
So this is the 360 handle. I think the name's a work in progress, so check his website if you want it.
It's just a simple pop pin. He's got it set up on his lever arms, so if you're not familiar with their lever arms, they can move freely and converge. You can lock them in. He's got, I believe, 2 angles. So if I wanted this in a little more, I can lock it in. And then I just come over here and quickly tweak the angle there. Obviously it's a lever arm, so I can adjust this. He's known for this system where I can put these, my starting point.
The pickiest person could not find a problem with it.
This is the most customizable, I would think, lever arm out there. But you can change all your angles to do whatever you want. Combine them with a Rorman handle.
Yeah.
So we can just fold this out of the way, right? So we got more space, and then you can see Rory with that same bracket over there with his pull-up handles. But now, you know, they can articulate and rotate. I actually have pain in my shoulders when I do pull-ups, and this allows me to tilt it how I want, and it kind of moves with my body.
And you should definitely check them out if you're interested in anything like this. Now we're at Bells of Steel, and they have a couple interesting things at this booth, to say the least. Starting off with this. This is the Hydra rack attachment thing. So
okay, that was great. We won't have to cut that up at all. Very smooth.
Thank you, thank you.
That's the Kraken. It can go on the Hydra and Manticore rack.
Who was right?
Hydra is 5/8, Manticore 1 inch, but it's basically the same attachment.
So we actually have one of these.
We've had it for a few months.
Yeah, they sent it to us, and Adrian got really Adrian, and he was like, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong, fix it.
That's true, but props to Bells because they fixed a lot of the things we talked about. And they're trying to use like a modular system, supposed to be 5/8 and 1 inch, but they're using the same pin for both, so they're nice shot. Why don't you give it a dunk? Maybe you could dunk it. They're supposed to use the same pin for everything. Now you're the one with ADD all over the place. But they changed it so that they'll swap out the pin depending on your rack. So that's kind of cool. You'll see this system, a lot of companies have kind of adapted this where you can go 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 if you link the two.
And here we have their 3 inch by 3 inch cable tower. And so initially this was 2.3 inches by 2.3.
We did a review on it, but you can say that about a lot of things here.
I know, and then they listened to people's criticisms and they decided to change to 3x3 because that's what everyone's doing. That's what our existing attachments work for.
So this is essentially a Manticore upright in chrome, and then it's for 3x3 1 inch. So you still have the 5/8 inch keyholes, and this slides pretty smoothly. Right? A lot of this stuff will sound like broken records, are prototypes and not quite done. So if you were here or if you tried some of this stuff and there's some rough edges, like their leg holder.
Like the literal rough edges.
Like these are just their rough prototypes, right? But that's cool. This is new. They must have designed it for this.
They have the seat.
An adjustable leg roller. This looks like a new seal row pad. So you could pull a pin here to pull it off the rack, just like think of Reps Pegasus or Rogue seat or other seats you've seen. It's now adjustable in multiple positions. I mean, for a prototype, this is pretty solid. Now this looks wiggly, but I haven't tightened any of the pins down. We're just looking at stuff. Cool to see that Bells has a whole kind of ecosystem coming out, but if you have a 1 inch rack or 5/8, you just add right onto it.
And this is my nickname, the boulder shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's similar to the GMW HD that we reviewed, where it has these pivoting arms. You can adjust it.
But it is adjustable. It would be cool to see one, and we have seen one here. We'll see it later.
Yes.
That is adjustable on both sides, but this is kind of like a trendy thing. You're gonna see a lot of companies come out with.
Belt always has a lot of interesting items here, and this is no exception. It will be really cool to see these prototypes actually on the market and what their price point is. It's starting to get super loud in here, so I hope you guys can hear us because we're at one of what I think is the most interesting booths here, and this is the Quantum Free Trainer.
So what it is a set of lever arms, right? But they can converge, and you can swap handles and do all kinds. It's one of those things where you
Swap
have to
handles is an
demonstrate
understatement.
Yeah, swap. Yeah, it really is. I could actually pop this off and throw a belt squat attachment on this.
Yeah, and you can adjust the height back here. So if you were belt squatting, you can move this so it's exactly perfect for
Isn't that
you.
crazy?
And this is, because it has this point right here, this is not hard to move at all.
Pretty crazy. But
Can I show them my favorite part?
Go ahead.
I like the bar. So we're gonna actually ask, can we put the bar on?
We'll
So
probably
the
do
bar is
that
not
later.
difficult to put on, but these guys are a legitimate pit crew.
And again, I can load this up. Was it 450 pounds per
About
arm?
450 is the weight limit, yeah. But you have both sides now.
Right?
How does it feel?
I mean, it's pretty good. The range of motion is insane.
Yes.
And you can set, obviously, the starting
And
point.
it's because you don't have the plates on the end, so you can get as low as physically possible.
Honestly, we probably
Yeah.
could have done an entire video on this.
So if you want something like this, you check out Quantum Trainers, and this is the specific Quantum Free Trainer.
So obviously, a system like this is going to have some setup involved, and we have. There's a linebacker attached.
Yeah.
There's so much over there we haven't touched.
Let's see.
But what did he say? When you fold it up, how large is it?
5 feet.
So the whole thing compresses
Yeah,
in.
so you take off you can put the arms straight up in the back, and you can fold up the bench. I mean, obviously this is the bench. It gets to 5 feet, which is crazy. But if you want us to review something like this, let us know. You know, this is a new, interesting piece of equipment I would want to see more of. We're now at Fringe Fitness, and I'm wondering how many times I've said over. Fringe Sport. Listen, every single company ends with sport, fitness, or strength. So it's a crapshoot as to which one it is.
We've been doing this a while.
And we're here with their Bracken, which is actually in production. This is their lat low.
This has a 320 pound stack. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. That's 80 pounds.
Oh yeah.
So you can
Easy.
see she's got the foot plate and she's not rowing on the ground. Looks like a pretty good height.
It's pretty good.
If you saw our ATX video last year with the Trinity Tower, this is Trinity Tower-esque, and that
Yes.
she can pop this up. She's got her thing, but
Yeah, and I can.
oh, Winnie, how are you going to reach that bar?
Oh no!
Whatever could we do?
Hey.
Boom.
I actually do like this functionality.
I mean, it's smooth.
Yeah, it's smooth.
It's a heavy stack, 1-to-1, 320
Easy to move
pounds.
around. You're not on the ground. It's great.
This is their modular Smith. It bolts onto your rack, so there's no width restraints there. You got the BYOB version,
Yeah.
so kind of Bell's-like. They got to kind of work on that lateral deflection a little bit. But you just pop in your mag pins wherever you want for safeties. It's cool to see somebody else take a shot at this. I'm guessing there'll be a fixed bar version as well.
And now we have this bad boy, which is the Dragonfly, which is my favorite name of the day thus far.
You don't like the acronym CGX1?
No, the GM, the LLT. No, this is cool. This is, as you've seen, there's a trend of these, what do we call these? Multi-flights.
But this is a rack attached version, so it's...
Yes, so I can actually pull this off.
Wait, you got it loaded.
I could pull this off because I'm so strong. And my husband is so smart for not letting me smash my feet.
So if you don't have
Honestly, it's not bad.
We've seen a lot of these throughout the day. Like Bell's or some other ones, you can load them in one location. This you can load in multiple locations, but you can change where the
Weight
second
horn?
weight
Yeah.
horn sits to mess with the resistance profile of the exercise, depending on what you're trying to do. That feels pretty good. It's not perfect at the top, so if that were the case, I would just pop this pin and drop it to a new location and kind of dial in you know, where I want it.
We saw Synergy last year at Home Gym Con, and they only had a couple things to offer. This year, it's like they have a complete new catalog of storage solutions.
That's essentially what Synergy does.
Yeah, and also look at these colors. They have 14 with purple soon to come.
This is actually what they started with last year. It's essentially a vertical dumbbell holder.
Oh, they have their landmine press?
That is not what they're doing right now. They've expanded out to have kettlebell shelves, dumbbell shelves, but where I think it gets exciting is when you start to see how the modular systems go together. Since everything's 3x3 1-inch, I can put the kettlebell shelves, the dumbbell tiers in.
Oh, look at that.
So this runs on 4,000 pound casters. Normally there'd be a guide to lock it in, but it didn't come, it got lost in mail or something.
Yes.
So imagine that.
It's not going anywhere.
And it's still pretty easy to move. This is their dumbbell stand. Everybody loves dumbbell stands now. Again, 3x3 1-inch, so I can mount this wherever I want for my height, which is super cool. I can change the angle. Just a little Allen key right there. Set it up however I want. This is just bolt on, right? So you don't even need this. I could throw this on a rack.
And we almost forgot to mention, everything is made in America. So this is, they said they powder coat in-house, all the steel comes from America. So this is a company that I would want to support if I was looking for a storage solution. We've seen a lot of interesting equipment and booths today, and we want to end it on a high note. We're here at Temple of Gainz to showcase some really interesting machines that I think you'll be interested in.
So they make a whole suite of machines.
Yeah, does this one look familiar at all?
It actually shouldn't look that familiar. So we reviewed the GMWD one, which was $400, and our video came out and then the price magically almost doubled. Anyway, and a lot of people will say like, Temple of Gainz just white labels the same stuff. You get next to this is not the same machine. This is just, everything about it is more refined and beefed up. I'm not talking just gauge of steel and how nice the lettering and numbering look, you know, knurled knobs. There's a lot of build quality things, but just literally everything about this multi-flight is a little bit nicer. Actually, I shouldn't say a little bit. It's a lot nicer.
A lot of it.
This is so nice, but that's not even really why we're here.
No, we're here for the Quad Send. I keep wanting to call it the Quadzilla, and this is the first prototype, so there are some changes that will be made.
Very well refined for a prototype.
Yes.
And look at this. They're nice enough to give Winnie a cheat seat.
Do you notice I put my back to it and immediately regretted it? You could have seen it in my eyes.
So, do you want to hop in or me?
I will.
So it's a leg press hack squat. The range of motion on this, there's a safety. There's a safety here to stop her from going lower. Even you can adjust that higher.
Yeah.
Still no range of motion issues. She pops that back up.
Yep.
Oh, you're going super high there?
I am for you.
Engages the safeties. The safeties will actually disengage themselves, which is really cool.
It's very cool.
They're running at a 37.5 degree. A lot of these will run.
Well, how did you know that? I hope you didn't read it from the sign.
A lot of these will run higher or lower, but the problem with all these machines, actually, I'm gonna pull the safety out before you kill me.
Okay.
This is just a show.
This is a lot of trust from him.
The problem with these machines is always range of motion on the hack squat. She will not bottom this thing out.
All right.
You don't have to do that, it'll all disengage, but go ahead. So you see, that's not, I mean, look how low that is.
Oh, geez Louise.
Can you get out of that?
I had to move my legs, but yeah. So obviously, I'm 5'6", so there are people that are shorter than me, they do exist. And this, you'd be fine. You'd be more than fine.
There's little touches like him making a cutout so this doesn't, you know, hit here. And then he's actually got a pad he's gonna put here. If you really wanted to nitpick this, your lat's kind of sitting here, so he's gonna make a pad. I mean, there's a video sitting in the background, you could probably look at all the little things. Yeah. But again, the touches, the knurled handles.
They have band pads. So this is reverse banded to make it lighter just for the show, but you can make it heavier. You can use heavier bands. The starting weight, he said, was heavy. He's not sure how heavy, but with the bands, you can make that starting weight lighter. And another prototype for this.
Showing a guy who's in touch with and listening to the community, this is a Voltra mount. Obviously, you don't need this. You could bolt this here and use your Voltra for resistance if you wanted to control. You can do it with the bands, you can do it with plates, but a lot of people love that digital technology. You want to control the eccentric or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you want to control something, you can just mess with it. But
there's a lot here. A lot here
for a prototype. I mean, and you know, I think I just found my favorite feature of this machine is it's easy to reach the safety.
The bar is low.
You would be surprised at how many combo units make weird sacrifices. Obviously that shouldn't be one, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and everything about this screams passion project, and that is what this is. The owner dedicated a lot of time, energy, resources into making this, and that's what's unique about it and why it has so many interesting features.
So I think this is important. We say thank you so much. We don't have any sponsors for this video. We paid our way. So literally it's our viewers and your support that's gotten us here. Hope you enjoyed our content. Please subscribe if you did.
And thank you to
so
our
much.
Patreons especially. Thank you.
Bye.